Hi, Alicia. This is Jill, and I just want to give you a little feedback regarding your charcoal reduction drawings. Before we do that, though, I'd like to look at your reduction scale here. When you go to apply the middle tone of the paper using the side of your charcoal, make sure that you do it on all of the edges. Allow the charcoal to go off of the edge of the paper. Okay, so you have a nice solid even tone throughout. And also it looks like possibly you may have used the white Conte stick at that first value. That's okay, but do not use it in the second or going forward. Okay, just use it in this one. That helps give it a little bit more pop. So as I transition over to your fourth value, which is the tone of the paper, this is a nice transition. What I notice is that there's a quick jump that happens between 4 and 5. And then 6 and 7 appear quite similar. So if this one can be lightened a little bit, and then this one lightened a little bit, I think you'd have a really nice transition going from light to dark. It's very, very close at this point. Your paper bag drawing looks really nice. I like how you have focused on this, and you have included all 8 values. One of the things that I want to talk about is the cast shadows. So the cast shadows are missing. So while this is a really nice drawing, it appears to be floating on the surface. And then another thing that's happening is that it's not drawn large enough where it really activates the negative space around this positive shape. So think about that while you're working is, should I draw this larger so I can break up some of this negative space? So I have a variety of both positive and negative spaces in my composition. It will become a lot more engaging for the viewer. In the mask line gestures for the second focus area, again, continue to think about drawing large, and you have gone in and described the mass of the objects, but you've also included value, meaning that you have lighter areas, you have medium values, and then you have darker values. What I really want this drawing to be is just a single value throughout that just describes the mass of the objects, and then line to describe the edges. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. Focus on drawing much larger. This is only a half sheet of paper, right? So you want to make sure that you are activating this space as well as a positive space. So drawing larger would help you in that area. So you have a nice value range in this drawing. Just if you decide to use the white Conte stick, make sure that you erase what's underneath first, because right now this white Conte stick looks quite muddy, okay? And if you want this to pop, you need to erase what's underneath. So you've got a really nice value range, and so this bag, especially right here, appears very volumetric, but it's still missing some of those values from the charcoal reduction scale that I see in the still life, but I don't see in this drawing. So before I jump into that, also think about drawing large. I'm laughing at myself because I've said it several times, but you know how you can activate this space. And then also think about those cast shadows. I can see some of them right here. So they should be integrated as well, which will help your composition. So don't be gutsy. Be a little bit more gutsy. You got gutsy here when you added the darker value. But if I look at this dark value to this dark value right here, this is not that much lighter than this right here. So don't be afraid to go darker with your dark values and lighter with your light values, and use your eraser to pick up those lighter values. So I'm trying to make comparisons here with the middle tone of the paper. And what I notice is this area right here and this area right here appears to be the middle tone of the paper, okay? So if I compare this value to this value up here, this right here appears quite a bit lighter. So what I should do is I should go in and I should use my eraser to erase out that whole area so that appears to have a lighter value. And then if I compare this value right here to this edge, this is a lot lighter. So again, erase it out so that you get that sharp contrast. This is light as well. It's not the same value as this, right? So erase that out. This right here starts to look like the middle gray, okay, over here. So I need to decide, is this a middle gray? Because if this is a middle gray, this whole area in here should be darker in value, okay? So you can see how I'm always going back to that area where the middle gray is and comparing the values to say, is it lighter or darker in value? So those are things to think about as you continue to explore charcoal reduction drawing. Try to be gutsy, try to go even lighter and even darker as needed.